when I got asked to do this, Paramount Plus got in touch and was like, look, we've got this format and we think you're going to be perfect for it. And I was like, what is it? And they said what it was. And they went, look, they've already done a season in Germany. We're going to send you the German version. Tell us what you think. And in the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh my goodness, because you see everything. There's no blurring. There's no like funny camera shots where there's like a plant pot in the way. It's there. It's all out. And I was like, oh my God. But after 10 minutes, I was like, I can't believe she's talking to him. He's saying that to her. And your mind just adjusts to this format. And obviously the fact that all of the contestants are naked is the shock factor. Why people are like, oh, what are they doing now on TV? But it has a big effect on what happens throughout the show, the fact that they are naked. Because what you notice is people are a lot more vulnerable and they actually become a lot more open, and you start to get to know them better, which in turn makes their connections a lot deeper. You know, it just eliminates that whole, I can't wait to get his clothes off, I can't wait to get her clothes off. They're off. I had to go through a thing called intimacy training, which was very important. Basically saying, you know, this isn't called this is the correct term, this is this. One of my main concerns was, I've hosted shows, you know, reality and different amount of shows over the years, and I'm quite a tactile person. And during this show, there are eliminations and things like that. And I'm like, well, normally if someone gets eliminated from something I'm working on, I'd put my arm around them or give them a hug. And am I allowed to do that? And it was always like, you've just got to remember, you're the host, you're fully dressed, so you're at an advantage, whereas that person isn't. So I wouldn't suggest you go and hug them. If they hug you and you're okay with that, that's fine. I'll be like, okay. So on day one, I'd obviously seen them all naked in their profile VTs, in their like contestant packs and stuff like that. So it wasn't them being naked, but it's just physically them being lined up in front of me in real life. So the first time we met, you saw on the show, I was like, hello daters, and they're all lined up. And we had to move a camera because of the sunlight. And in that sort of 2 minutes where a camera was moved, everyone was silent. And I thought, I'm gonna be with these people for a month. This needs to be comfortable. So I looked them all dead in the eye and I went, I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. And I looked down and I just went along the line like that, and they just burst out laughing. And from that moment on, it was normal. And that was it. It was like, yeah, you're naked, great, like, done. And that literally was it. And it just broke the ice and it just became normal. And without giving any spoilers, sort of later on in the series, you may have the opportunity to see people in clothes for a number of reasons.
Jodie.
And that felt alien to me.
Yeah.
It felt weirder seeing them clothed than naked. There is that initial like, oh my God, like penis, breast, like whatever, you're like, oh. But then it's not sexual in any respect. I mean, don't get me wrong, the contestants, there's sexuality that happens between them, but it doesn't feel dirty. It doesn't feel voyeuristic. It starts out feeling a little bit voyeuristic, and that's human nature. It's like consciousness. You're like, well, it's like, don't press the red button. I'm going to press the red button. It's like you look, but then what actually happens is you start watching these connections, and there's a load of shows. There's a million reality shows out there. There's a million dating shows out there. The difference with this one is that raw connection that you watch build throughout the series, because of the fact they're naked, you understand it is actually a social experiment. It's not just, quick, let's get a shock factor for people to tune in. It's not that in the slightest. The fact that they are naked is the reason why the connections that were made in the first place. And that becomes so evident throughout the entire series.